Welcome to International Wives of African Men. I'm Bequita. Latoya's in Ghana. I am here in Atlanta with Tamekia. And we're going to talk about her and her man, her African man.
Okay. My husband is from Ibadan, Nigeria. And I met him through Afro Introductions, flew to Nigeria and got married almost a year and a half later.
So what about him made you say, I think he's the one?
What made me say he was the one was his comment about his career. Like, why did you become a geologist? And he said, I became a geologist because I feel like our earth should not be harvested for anything other than the betterment of mankind. And to me, as a nurse, that meant a lot to me. And I thought, what an intelligent answer. Like, who says that?
Who does that?
And so, right then and there, a red light went off in my head. Like, this is what you need. This is a good guy. This is an educated guy. This is a smart guy. But he's compassionate.
We just did a show about mixing families. And one of the questions that we always get is, how do you mix a family? So, do you have a plan or an idea of how you think you could possibly mix the families? You know, because culturally, there are some differences that you've been in Nigeria.
Yes, I've been in Nigeria.
So you know that there are some differences that we kind of, as Americans, it's like, I don't know about that.
Well, I'm going to say this. For me personally, it was important for me to have my kids build a relationship prior to him coming home. So my kids Skype with him. He calls to check on them when I'm not home. My husband gets their grades via internet. My girls go to an all-girls school, so they get daily updates on their grades. Little Miss over here was suspended, and he got that call before I got that call.
Oh, wow.
And he got on her. He said that was totally unacceptable. That wouldn't happen if he was here. If there's an issue with grades, he will call me at work. Hey, look, I got this email. Nikisha has a C in this. You know, what's going on? What are you doing? When I hear the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. My husband, his brothers, his aunt, they all play a role actively now, and they're not even here. The plan to bring us together is accept those differences now and let my kids hear the respect. So, like when Auntie was here, I had to teach my oldest daughter how to greet an elder and how to curtsy. And, you know, even I had to learn how to greet my father-in-law when I was there. You know, drop to your knees. Hi, Daddy. You know, it's not hello, sir. So, you know, you just have to be open-minded.
I believe that we have to take interest, just as they should be taking interest in our culture. We need to take interest in their culture, and it needs to be a two-way street. And it sounds like you guys are already doing a good job of trying to understand what it is you're getting into.
I hear so many women in the group say, I'm not going to his country, I'm not doing this. One of the things that I did get was I got to be in my husband's community and hear women say that you have a good husband.
Absolutely.
You have, you know, mommy, he works hard.
Those kind of things are important.
He works hard, but I also had wives invite me to their home for dinner and say, you're American, but your husband is Nigerian, so your home is Nigerian. Your husband's food is important to him. Don't let another woman feed your husband her food.
So he is Christian.
He's Christian.
Okay, because that was the next thing. I know a lot of times we end up with Muslim Christian households, but with you having a Christian household, that part should be relatively easy. You were telling me that before, you know, you did a little background check on him. You wanted to make sure everything was all good. So if you would, please tell the ladies, or ladies and gentlemen, what it is that you did to give yourself some sense of security with the situation.
I'm going to say this from previous experience. Google your men. Just Google them. You have to do your research up front. But the best test is to go and stay with these men. I hear so many women say, I went and I stayed in a hotel because take me to your house. Take me to your house. I want to see where you live. Absolutely. I want to be in I want to grace your presence. I want to see what you do when you sleep. Absolutely. I want to see your habits. I want you to see my habits. I want to meet your family. Absolutely. I want to see what they think about me. I stayed in my husband's house with my 2 brother-in-laws, his aunt. I woke up with them. I had breakfast with them. I broke bread with them. I used the bathroom with them. Right. I mean, seriously.
You got to be involved with the family.
With the family.
And I don't think these women a lot of times understand how important that is in the cultures of African people. How when you're marrying into a family, if it's a sincere situation, that's exactly what's happening. So why wouldn't he want to take you to his house? Exactly. You know, I met key people in his family, and I've been talking to some women who have been married to men for several years and haven't met anyone in their family.
Nobody.
You haven't even met the mother?
Mom and daddy didn't come to the wedding because they live too far away.
And I've never heard in a sincere situation. I've never heard of such foolery, because these people will travel
to see their children get married,
because it's such an important
thing to them.
Such an important event. Was there a bride price for you, or how did you all address that cultural issue?
I knew about the bride price, and it's funny that you asked that because I asked my husband about it, and he said, well, you know, in my culture we do a bride price. He said, but I married an American. That was his excuse.
And you have so much time between now and when your man gets to you. There's a lot of time. So spend that time preparing him for certain things. And he should be preparing you for certain things. So find out where, like right now, Tamekia, you have me at this beautiful African restaurant. You already have a place where you can take him so he can have something that's like home. Although this is a Ghanaian restaurant, they serve Nigerian food. So at least until you get to learn how to cook those things, you can say, well, I'll stop by this place and get him something to eat. Those kind of things we have to take in consideration. And I'm so glad that you've already done some due diligence. And just the simple fact is you have a place to take him to eat. That is so important, because he's gonna miss home, he's gonna miss his food, and you can say, well, let's go over here.
Exactly. We even have the store around.
Right, and there's a market here where you can get those things that. So you might not know how to pound fufu, but you can get you some fufu powder.
Put it in the microwave and be like, yeah, I pounded it. Yeah.
Let's get over the flowers and the feathers and all of the unicorns and rainbows. Real. Let's keep it real. And let's get an understanding for what it is that we're about to embark on, you know, and knowing that you've done your due diligence and saying, okay, let me make sure he's good first.
Yeah, gotta make sure he's good.
You've gone there. So many women don't even go.
Yeah, go.
Like, why wouldn't you go?
You know,
even if you can't afford to take your kids,
yeah, you still.
You have to go.
Before we got married, my husband had told his father, and his father, asked to speak to me. His dad said, you know, I think you should come to Nigeria, then get married here, and if your family wants to come, we'll definitely host them. And I said, you know, we've talked about it. I just don't know if I can. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't come see the culture of your husband's people, your marriage will never work. He said, because you need to see the culture, you need to understand the culture to respect your husband.
Something that also always comes up, and it's the money issue.
Okay.
I always get women who there are men who are asking them to send them money. How do you feel about that?
Oh God, this is gonna be a hard. And anybody that sees this that knows is like, okay, Tamekia, tell the truth. When I was told that I know my relationship is true if my man didn't ask me to send him any money. But there was a time when we were getting married, my husband asked me to send him $100. And I was like, I'm not sending you no money. I don't know you. That was my attitude. But I never thought about he was paying for our wedding. And he asked me for $100. And it fought my spirit. And I sent it, resentfully, okay? And I told him, I said, don't ever ask me for no money again. There came another time before I left, I sent $50. And I sent it resentfully. It wasn't until I stepped off the plane that I realized my husband had probably spent his entire life savings for us to have this beautiful wedding. The food that was there, the alcohol, the drinks. And what I had done for him was nothing compared to what he had just done for me and what I was going to get for a lifetime.
Right.
So I would say send money cautiously. You know, if somebody tells you they need $5,000, that's the difference.
And see, this is what that's why. So if you ladies were watching my face, I'm sitting here like $100, $50. No, I'm talking about women where these men are telling them to send them $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. They need school books. They need this. They need. My question is, how was he living before he met you? How is it that now he's hungry?
But he wasn't before.
But if he was hungry before he met you, why he ain't dead?
Exactly.
Because there was a life before you. So why does he need you to send him $2,000? What does that translate into Naira?
Oh, girl, lots of money.
You know, and in SETI, that's a lot of money. We had one instance where a lady, she had a guy who he wouldn't talk to her unless she sent him money. He would literally not pick up the phone, not answer emails, not
doing something for him
unless she would send him money.
And ladies, that's stupidity. That's stupidity. If you have care and concern about my well-being, everything else will fall into place. It's not.
You're not supposed to take care of us.
You're not supposed to. Yeah.
And we're supposed to be support. Worst case scenario, they say, no, we're not gonna let him come, just for whatever stupid reason they could come up with. Would you be willing to move to Nigeria?
I would be willing. I can't say we would stay in Nigeria, but that would be our first touch. Me and my husband have talked about Dubai. We've talked about Ghana. You know, those places are a little safer.
A little more,
yeah. South Africa, but I told my husband, you know, if something was to happen, you know, our deadline was March 1st. Whether immigration approved, whether it was complete, March 1st, 2015 was the deadline. My husband was like, get those passports ready.
We're getting ready for his interview.
Yes.
We're excited.
We're excited and nervous.
And nervous.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Only because it's a life changer.
Kind of.
And not a life changer to where it's going to determine my marriage. It's just, it determines if he's coming home or we're going home.
Or if you're going home.
Yeah, so right. That's the only difference, you know.
And there's always somewhere else. I like the fact that you mentioned Dubai.
Yeah.
You mentioned Ghana. You mentioned other places. There's always somewhere else. And life is with who you make it with, and not where you make it. It's with who. So if it's not America, it's Dubai, or it's Ghana, it's Australia, it's Antarctica, it's the moon. Wherever you're gonna be happy with. I'll be looking forward to talking to you after your interview, so we can hopefully we'll be saying yay, welcome home. Yeah. And if not, we'll be saying yay, we're going to Africa.